A week. That's all it takes to begin changing the direction of your life. Not forever, not perfectly. Just 1 week of intentional decisions. Most people wake up every morning already tired, not because they didn't sleep enough, but because they've stopped waking up with purpose. They scroll before they think. They react before they lead. And slowly they become strangers to their own potential. But here's the good news: you do not need a new life overnight. You need a new standard. Because the moment you decide to wake up earlier, think clearer, move faster, and stop negotiating with your excuses, something powerful happens. You begin to level up. And leveling up is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming who you were meant to be before fear, comfort, and distraction took control. So in the next few minutes, I want to challenge you. What if the next 7 days could become the turning point of your entire year? What if 1 week of discipline could create a version of you that people no longer recognize? Not because you changed your face, but because you changed your mindset. This is Abuteolaki UPNL UPIman Wandu EK. And if you're ready to stop surviving and start transforming, then this message is for you. You know what destroys most people's dreams? It's not failure. It's not bad luck. It's not lack of talent. It's the conversation they have with themselves every morning. That moment when the alarm rings and the mind begins negotiating. 5 more minutes. I'll start tomorrow. I'm too tired. I deserve rest. And little by little, those small excuses become a lifestyle. Because every morning, you are making a decision about who is in control, your goals or your comfort. Most people think success is built in big moments. It's not. Success is built in the first 10 minutes after you wake up, because that moment reveals everything. It reveals your discipline, your priorities, your hunger, your mindset. Anyone can talk about ambition at night. Anyone can post quotes on social media. Anyone can say they want greatness. But the real question is, can you get out of bed when your body wants to quit? That's where transformation begins. You see, your excuses sound convincing because they're familiar. Your mind is designed to protect comfort. It wants safety. It wants routine. It wants what feels easy. But growth has never lived inside comfort. Every powerful version of yourself is waiting on the other side of resistance. The problem is, most people lose the battle before the day even begins. They wake up tired because they sleep with no purpose. They wake up distracted because they ended the night distracted. They wake up weak because they have trained themselves to obey emotions instead of vision. And eventually, they start believing that average is normal. But average is not normal. Average is programmed. The world constantly trains people to choose convenience over discipline, entertainment over focus, comfort over growth. And the dangerous part is this: when you repeat those choices long enough, they stop feeling like choices. They become identity. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. That's why waking up early is not really about time. It's about control. When you wake up before your excuses, you prove something to yourself. You prove that your future matters more than temporary comfort. And confidence is not built by motivational speeches. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. Every morning you break your own promise, your self-respect weakens. Every morning you delay action, your mind learns hesitation. Every morning you choose comfort first, your discipline becomes smaller. Then people wonder why they feel stuck. You cannot build a powerful life with weak mornings, because the way you start your day shapes the energy of everything that follows. Think about it. When you wake up late, rushed and distracted, your entire day becomes reactive. You chase time, you chase focus, you chase motivation. But when you wake up with intention, everything changes. Your mind becomes sharper. Your emotions become calmer. Your decisions become stronger. You begin leading your life instead of reacting to it. And no, waking up early is not magic. The real power is what it represents. It represents ownership. It says, I will not let my feelings control my future. That mindset alone separates leaders from followers. Because successful people are not always more talented. They are simply more disciplined with the moments that most people waste. While others are sleeping through opportunities, they are preparing. While others are complaining, they are building. While others are waiting for inspiration, they are already moving. Action creates momentum. Not thoughts, not intentions, not excuses. And here's what most people never realize. The first victory of the day matters psychologically. When you defeat laziness in the morning, your brain begins the day with momentum. You feel stronger, more capable, more focused. But when laziness defeats you first, that energy follows you everywhere. Then procrastination feels easier. Distraction feels normal. Quitting feels acceptable. One decision creates another. That's why small actions are never really small. They shape identity. Every morning you are casting votes for the type of person you become. When you wake up early to work on yourself, you are voting for discipline. When you train your body, you are voting for strength. When you study instead of scrolling, you are voting for growth. And identity changes through repetition, not motivation. Repetition. People love motivation because it feels exciting. But motivation is temporary. Discipline is reliable. Some mornings you will feel inspired. Most mornings you will not. That's reality. And the people who change their lives are not the ones who feel ready every day. They are the ones who move even when they don't feel like it. Because they understand something powerful: your feelings do not deserve leadership over your destiny. If you only act when you feel motivated, your future will always be controlled by emotion. But when you act despite emotion, you build mental strength. That's why waking up before your excuses is deeper than productivity. It's identity training. You are teaching yourself, I do hard things. I move with purpose. I don't negotiate with weakness. And over time, that mindset changes everything. Your posture changes. Your confidence changes. Your standards change. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to improve. You begin seeing yourself as someone who executes. That is the shift. Because success begins the moment excuses lose authority over your life. Freedom. Everybody wants it. Financial freedom. Mental freedom. Emotional freedom. The freedom to live life on your own terms. But most people misunderstand how freedom is actually created. They think freedom comes from doing whatever you want, sleeping whenever you want, working only when you feel motivated, avoiding pressure, avoiding responsibility. But that kind of freedom is an illusion, because when you avoid discipline, you don't become free. You become controlled by your impulses, controlled by distractions, controlled by emotions, controlled by habits, controlled by weakness. Real freedom is earned through discipline. The reason most people feel trapped in life is because they never train themselves to take control of their mind. They wait for feelings to decide their actions. If they feel motivated, they work. If they feel tired, they stop. If things become difficult, they quit. And eventually, they become prisoners of inconsistency. You see, the discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect in action. It's the ability to say, my future matters more than my temporary comfort. That is power. Because the moment you learn to control yourself, your entire life changes. Most people are not lacking potential. They are lacking structure. They have dreams without habits, goals without routines, vision without execution, and dreams without discipline always stay fantasies. Everybody talks about wanting success, but very few people are willing to build the lifestyle that success demands. Because discipline is uncomfortable. It forces you to wake up when you're tired, work when you don't feel like it, stay focused when distractions are everywhere, keep going when results are invisible. And that's exactly why discipline creates freedom. Because every difficult choice you make today removes struggle from your future. When you discipline your finances, you create financial freedom. When you discipline your health, you create physical freedom. When you discipline your thoughts, you create emotional freedom. When you discipline your time, you create control over your life. Without discipline, life becomes chaos. You start chasing short-term pleasure while destroying long-term peace. That's what most people are doing every single day. They sacrifice their future for temporary comfort. They trade growth for entertainment. They trade focus for distraction. They trade purpose for convenience. And they don't realize the cost until years later. The dangerous thing about lack of discipline is that the consequences are delayed. One lazy morning doesn't destroy your future. One wasted day doesn't ruin your life. One bad decision seems harmless. But repeated daily, small weaknesses become massive limitations. Your habits are building your future quietly. Every action is either creating freedom or creating regret. And the truth is, your life right now is the result of what you repeatedly tolerate. If you tolerate procrastination, your goals suffer. If you tolerate excuses, your confidence weakens. If you tolerate inconsistency, your progress disappears. Discipline raises your standards. It teaches you to stop accepting less from yourself. That's why disciplined people move differently. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create momentum through action because they understand that feelings are unreliable. Some days you'll feel confident. Some days you'll feel exhausted. Some days you'll doubt yourself completely. But discipline allows you to keep moving regardless of emotion, and that's where true freedom begins. Imagine waking up without anxiety because your life is organized. Imagine having confidence because you trust yourself. Imagine being physically strong because you stayed consistent. Imagine having opportunities because you invested in yourself daily. That life is built through discipline, not luck, not talent, not motivation, consistency. People often look at successful individuals and think they're gifted, they're naturally confident, they have advantages. But what they don't see are the invisible routines, the early mornings, the sacrifices, the repeated effort, the moments where discipline was chosen over comfort again and again. Because success is usually boring before it becomes impressive. The world celebrates results but ignores routines, and routines are what shape identity. Every disciplined action sends a message to your mind, I can trust myself. That's important, because self-confidence is not built by positive thinking alone. It's built through evidence. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you create evidence of strength. Every time you stay consistent, you create proof of discipline. Every time you do what you said you would do, your self-respect grows. But every broken promise damages that relationship with yourself. That's why discipline is deeply connected to confidence. People who cannot control their habits often struggle to believe in themselves because internally they know they are constantly betraying their own goals. Discipline changes that. It creates alignment between your vision and your behavior. And once your actions align with your goals, momentum begins. You stop depending on external motivation. You stop waiting for inspiration. You stop making excuses. You become reliable. That is rare. Most people are emotional workers. They only perform when conditions feel right. Disciplined people operate differently. They understand that greatness is not built occasionally. It is built daily. Small actions repeated consistently become extraordinary results over time. That's why discipline always looks difficult in the beginning, but powerful in the end. While others are wasting time, disciplined people are building options. While others are losing focus, disciplined people are gaining control. While others are trapped by bad habits, disciplined people are creating freedom. And freedom feels different when you earn it, because earned freedom comes with confidence. You know you can handle pressure. You know you can survive hard seasons. You know you can rely on yourself. That inner stability changes the way you walk through life. You stop panicking during challenges. You stop folding under stress. You stop needing constant validation, because discipline builds mental toughness. And mental toughness is one of the greatest advantages a person can develop. The world is full of distractions designed to weaken focus. Everything competes for your attention. Everything encourages comfort. That's why discipline has become rare, and rare qualities create uncommon lives. When you become disciplined, you separate yourself from average behavior. You become intentional, focused, reliable, dangerous in the best possible way. Because a disciplined person is difficult to stop. They don't need applause to continue. They don't need motivation every day. They don't quit because things get hard. They understand that temporary discomfort creates permanent growth. And every day they choose discipline, they become a little more free. Every morning, before the world even speaks to you, your habits already have. Before you answer a message, before you check social media, before you step outside, you have already started becoming someone for the day. That's why your morning matters more than you think. Most people treat mornings casually. They wake up with no intention, no structure, no direction. They grab their phone before they grab control of their mind. They consume noise before they create focus. And then they wonder why they feel lost, distracted, and emotionally exhausted before the day even begins. Because your morning doesn't just start your day, it shapes it. The energy you create in the first hour follows you into every decision afterward. If your morning begins with stress, your mind becomes reactive. If your morning begins with distraction, your focus weakens. If your morning begins with laziness, your discipline shrinks. But when your morning begins with purpose, your entire mindset changes. You become intentional instead of emotional, focused instead of scattered, driven instead of passive. And over time, those mornings begin shaping your future. You see, your future is not created in one dramatic moment. It is created through repeated daily patterns. The life you live tomorrow is hidden inside what you repeatedly do today. That's why successful people protect their mornings aggressively, because they understand something most people ignore. The first moments of the day are mentally sacred. Your brain is highly impressionable in the morning. What you feed it first becomes emotional momentum. If the first thing you consume is negativity, comparison, drama, or distraction, you are training your mind to operate from chaos. And chaos destroys clarity. But when you begin your morning with discipline, movement, learning, reflection, or focus, you train your brain for performance. You begin operating from intention rather than impulse. That is a massive difference. Most people spend their lives reacting. Reacting to notifications, reacting to opinions, reacting to pressure, reacting to emotions. But powerful people learn to lead themselves before the world starts pulling at them. That leadership begins in the morning. Think about how many people wake up already defeated. They hit snooze multiple times, rush through the morning, complain about being tired, scroll endlessly, waste their mental energy before they even touch their goals. And then they expect confidence, productivity, and success to magically appear. It doesn't work like that. You cannot build an extraordinary future with careless mornings, because mornings reveal priorities.